This is my $1.7 million clothing brand blueprint that you guys can literally copy step by step. If you don't understand anything in this video, you have a 6'7" skibbity-doo brain rot brain, because I explain everything as if you are a 5-year-old kid, okay? So if you don't understand anything, okay, or you don't get anything out of the video, you're genuinely stupid, you have no prefrontal cortex, and you can't connect neurons and think for yourself. Now, let's just get started. Who am I? Why should you even listen to me? Why should you dedicate 20-30 minutes to watch my video? Because I don't know, maybe I'm just giving out a full course, right? That's not good enough. You need me to explain why I'm credible. Completely understandable. I started my first brand late 2022. This is a picture of my house, like my parents' house, with a bunch of packages on Be Real. If you use Be Real in 2025, you are a homosexual. This is another picture of me with packages. This is in my room. My room was actually small as shit. It's pretty much the size of my closet I have right now. It's really small, but as you guys can see, this is me around 2022, 2023-ish. I hit 6 figures with my brand by 19 in 1 year. Okay, by myself, which I'll go over later. I have a second brand that hit 6 figures in 3 months. It's called Chloe.co. I'm sure a lot of you guys that follow me know what that is. I moved into a little office space here, as you guys can see, when I was 19. And I also hit $500,000 in sales by 20. I got my first warehouse at the age of 21. This is my first warehouse. I also hit 7 figures in revenue by 21 with my clothing brand. This is another package or picture of me with a bunch of packages. I bought a Corvette C8 at 21. This was around 6 months ago. I got my second warehouse, so I upgraded my warehouse at 21. This warehouse is 3 times bigger than my last one. I have my own bathroom. I have a little office space. If you guys watch any of my videos, you guys would, see the warehouse. And we are consistently hitting 6 figures per month, which I'll go over later. But I was also a regular Joe Schmo. What I mean by this is I am not an influencer, right? I have followers now. Don't get me wrong. I have a couple thousand, maybe 5 subscribers on this account. But when I first started my brand, I was not an influencer. I actually never showed my face until I hit 6 figures. And I still don't show my face. And my personal brand is not tied to my clothing brand. Okay. If you look at all these other clothing brand gurus, all these other coaches, their personal brand is tied to their brand. Okay. The reason why this is bad is because they use their personal following to get sales for their brand. But let's just say you have a competition, right? You put me and any other clothing brand coach, whatever influencer that has a coaching program together, and you have to bet money on who's going to hit 6 figures the quickest. I think everybody's going to put their money on me because I started my brand without being an influencer, right? I'm not an influencer. So, that's the first thing. I was anonymous. I actually started my personal brand after I hit 6 figures. Everybody that watches my videos from a long time ago obviously knows that. I'm not a full-time guru. What I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, but like what I mean by this is like my main source of income is not my like coaching program, if that makes any sense. Like I make way more money from my clothing brand. I'm doing 6 figures per month with my clothing brand. So like if my coaching program or my mentorship or my inner circle needs to catch up to that, it'll take a while. You know what I'm trying to say? And by the time it hits 6 figures per month, my brand is probably doing like $500,000 in sales per month. So that's the first thing. So I guess like maybe if this is more credible, started off with $1,000. So I didn't start off with like 10, 20K. I started off with nothing. My parents are broke. I had no connections, no mentorship. I'm a full owner, so I learned everything by myself. The reason why I think this is very important is because when it comes to teaching other people, in my personal opinion, if that person did not go through that said thing by themselves, I don't think they're credible to teach it, right? So for example, let's say an influencer that starts a clothing brand, they're giving advice on how to run ads. Well, if you have an agency that runs all the ads for you, like, are you really qualified to give other people tutorials? Answer is no. For me personally, I learned everything by myself. So designing, I design still till this day, websites, manufacturing, communication with manufacturers, running ads. Like I run all my ads by myself. Like the only reason I outsource specific stuff, it's because I already mastered it and I don't need to do it myself. So the point I'm trying to make is I was pretty much a regular Joe Schmo, just like everybody watching this video, right? Why am I making this video? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I just want to find clients that want to work with me, plus that have a good work ethic. I think every single time I find good clients that join my program or whatever, they usually watch my videos first, and I provide a lot of good game, a lot of value, and then they decide to work with me. Obviously, here's a couple examples of a couple of clients we had that's getting good results, and I want to have way more clients that are really hardworking and that have the actual intention of actually starting and scaling their clothing brand. So I will say 99% of you guys probably aren't qualified, so you guys can just enjoy this free course. For those that are interested, link in bio, but I'll talk about that later, like after the video. So this was, I mean, this is the last 3 months. It's currently October 9th right now. So August we did 175K. Last month we did 144K. This month, so it's only been a week, we're at 55K. We're probably going to do around 150-ish. I'm not too sure exactly, but we're probably going to do around that range, right? So the point I'm trying to make is I think I know what I'm talking about. I'm hitting 6 figures per month with my clothing brand. Also, this is all in a span of like 2 to 3 years. Now, let's just get started, okay? Number one, step one. Basics. Before I even go over like the exact strategies and stuff like that and what I did to implement into my business, you guys have to have all the basics in place, okay? And I have a list here so you guys can literally follow it. Like I said earlier, this is going to be easy as if you are a 5-year-old kid, okay? Foundations. So these are the basic foundations you need to have for your business. Brand name, obviously, okay? Please don't choose a name where it's like angelic demonic motion or some shit like that. Like every single time I see a brand with angelic demonic motion or whatever the case may be, they usually all look the same and it's very generic, and there's a lot of brands that have that type of name. So try to be unique, okay? I'm gonna be honest, guys, I wouldn't overcomplicate the name too much. Like I think you're better off just choosing a name that you like and you're proud of saying, right? Like, oh, I'm the owner of Demonic Angel Motion. Like, no, you're not, bro. Like you're gonna be embarrassed to say that. So choose a name that you're probably going to be proud of saying. It should have like some sort of domain availability. So what I mean by this is you should be able to find like your Instagram handle. Like for example, if you do like Demonic Angel Clothing, like there's 20 other brands that have the same name. So you probably won't be able to find a website domain and an Instagram and TikTok username. So try to find something that is unique, has some sort of meaning, obviously. And yeah, so that's the first thing. You should have a logo. Worst case scenario, just have your brand name in a font and just call it a logo. Brand identity, aesthetic. So you should obviously have what type of look you're trying to go for, what type of vibe, target audience, stuff like that. Brand story / mission. This is optional. The reason why I say it's optional is because nobody gives a shit about your brand story or mission if you have 5 followers. You should definitely keep this in mind, but I don't think this is, to be honest, necessary. I'm just keeping it a buck, guys. Like nobody gives a fuck about you. Niche / target, customer defined. So what I mean by this is you should find your niche or try to identify what your niche is and what type of customers you want to target. Okay, is it Black people? Is it Asian people? Is it younger kids? Is it older people? Is it streetwear? Is it sportswear? Like, you know, basic common sense shit like that. And then obviously competitor research. This I think is pretty simple because you should have already seen a couple brands that you personally want to replicate, and you probably follow them as well. So I think this one is pretty easy. So after you do this, obviously you need to have all the logistics set up. So like, for example, website, make a Shopify account or whatever website provider you use, make your social media accounts, download all the apps on your website. So if you use Shopify, like Klaviyo, PostScripts for SMS and email, just all the basic stuff like that. Download Photoshop, designing softwares, Illustrator, whatever you want to use. Supplies, so like polymailers, thermal labels, and obviously you should have some sort of budget in mind, or you should work a job, or you know, have some sort of idea of how much money you can spend on your business, right? So after this, we are going to go to step number 2. Wow, we're moving pretty quickly. It took me like an hour and a half to make this shit, and I'm probably gonna make this video in like 20 minutes. That's not really a good sign, guys, for me. All right, actually no, I don't care because I don't get paid through YouTube. Anyways, step 2, design. Design is very tricky. The reason why it's tricky is because it's depending on your niche, style, and obviously fashion moves very quickly. This is the reason why I never understood people that join a mentorship or a coaching program from a clothing brand owner that has hit 6 figures, 7 figures, 6, 7, around 2022 or 2023, and they're not doing their brand till this day, right? Like I feel like it's a very red flag if this said person is not doing this said thing till this day. So this obviously is for clothing, but this can be for anything. Like for example, if you have an ad agency, right, and you claim that you are a master at like running an ad agency, but now you just do full-on coaching and you don't do an ad agency, I think that's a little bit of a red flag, right? So and especially for clothing, because I feel like fashion moves so quickly, so many new things. Like you can't just go viral on TikTok and sell out and make six figures like right now in 2025. Like that's not how it works. Maybe in 2022, yes, but now it doesn't work like that. So stuff changes so much. I genuinely don't understand like the reasoning on why people join programs that's like and getting mentored by people that don't have a brand right now, but that's none of my business. Anyways, so design is very tricky because obviously it's very subjective, and every niche is different, every style is different. Like you might think something is trash, but in a specific niche it might be good. So it's just like that little tricky line. So there's two options that you guys can choose from here. Option number one is learning by yourself. Option number two is just buying a design. I'll go over option number one because I recommend this option the most. In my personal opinion, it is better in the long run. The pros are you can make your own designs whenever you wish. So for example, if I have an idea, right? Let's just say I'm just scrolling on Pinterest, or maybe I have an idea that comes up. I can literally just design it on Photoshop right away, just like that, because I know how to use Photoshop. There's also a lot more tutorials out right now on exactly how to design on Photoshop, and specific towards brands, right? Because there's a lot of brand owners now, so a lot of the tutorials on Photoshop, Illustrator, etc. are based, or like it's for clothing brand owners. So you're gonna have a lot of resources. You also don't have to pay for a design every single time. So for example, if you just want to make something very simple, right? Maybe like literally just your logo on a shirt, whatever the case may be, you would still have to pay somebody to do it for you because your lazy ass doesn't want to learn how to use Photoshop. But if you learn, you can literally just do it by yourself. Some cons is obviously it takes a long time. It takes a lot of practice. And you know, it's a skill you have to learn on top of every other skill. Like you have to learn like all the other skills like marketing and stuff like that. So it's an additional thing that you have to worry about. It takes practice as well, obviously, and you might not be as talented. I feel like this one just is dependent on you. If you don't think you're creative, if you're a creative person and you suck at designing, this not like designing for yourself might not be the best route, right? For example, like I have clients that are in my program right now. Objectively, they aren't really good at designing, right? The reason why I know that is because they've been in the program for like around 2 to 3 months. I keep giving them feedback on designing. So they're either not listening or they just have no creative, like a creative brain compared to like somebody creative, which is fine because, you know, those people are usually better with numbers, right? So there's always a pro and con with everybody. Like, for example, for me, I'm not really good at numbers, but I feel like I'm a more creative type of person. So because of that, you have to analyze yourself. However, I will say, like, I have so many clients that join my program thinking they're not creative and they're going to be bad at designing, and then they start designing and they're actually good at it. Like they're actually really good at it. So I think this one is something you just kind of have to test out. Option number two is just buying a design. So the reason why this is good is because it's just faster, right? Anything in business, speed to lead is like a thing in sales, I believe, or something like that. But speed is just really good. And especially when it comes to starting a clothing brand, it takes a very long time. But if you just buy a design, boom, right away, you are literally cutting down like 1 to 2 months work of just literally learning how to use Photoshop, right? Because it takes time for you to use Photoshop, learn the skill and master it, which will probably take around 2 months, but you're cutting those 2 months just like that, just by buying a design from a professional. So the pro to this is you don't have to worry about learning another skill. It's usually going to be better quality compared to you doing it because you have a professional doing it, and it's faster. So this a good example is like me editing a video on YouTube. I can do it myself if I want to, but obviously it's not going to be as good compared to like my actual video editor that's really talented, has been doing it for 10 years. So cons, obviously it's expensive. You can get scammed here and there. And obviously if there's something little, like maybe like a little logo or something like that, you're going to have to pay for every single design. So I think the best way to do this is you do both, okay? You learn Photoshop on the side here and there, okay? You know all the basics. And then if you are bad at Photoshop and you're not creative, just buy a design. If you think you're creative and you're good, just keep doing Photoshop and just make all your designs yourself. Now, step 3. Wow, we're actually almost done. I'm making this shit very fast. Sample slash product. So now that you have your design ready, so this is considering that you have your design ready. So regardless of whether you made it yourself or you bought a design, you have a design that's already good to go. Now, is this design good? Probably not, right? But that's on you, right? You're either having a bad, I don't know, relationship with the designer and you didn't communicate it well and then he just made a trash product or trash design, or the designer in itself is just trash, or you designed everything yourself and obviously it came out like trash, because that's what usually happens when you first learn to design by yourself. Now, what do you do with that? Honestly, I think criticism is your best friend. Try to ask people around. Obviously, if you have like some sort of community or anything like that, you can send your designs in the chat. Like for example, for us, I literally have the clients send, like we have like a design review channel, and they literally send their designs and we review it for them, give them feedback, tell them what's good, what's bad, XYZ. So I think that's the best way to actually see if your design is good or not. For me personally, I never had that. I never did that because I didn't know anybody that had a clothing brand, and I try to keep it a secret. But I think that's the only real way to see if your design is good or not in the beginning. Obviously now I have developed a creative eye, so I kind of know like what's a good design and what's a bad design. So considering that you have your design ready, let's just say you have a design ready. Now it's for you to make a sample. You want to find a manufacturer on Alibaba. You can use Pakistan. 99% of them are scammers, quality's trash. They are cheaper, but you know, like you're pretty much paying for what you get. Like usually Chinese is just better overall. So I would find a manufacturer on Alibaba and make sure you toggle the trade assurance on the left side. So if you go to Alibaba and let's just say you search up a shirt manufacturer, on the left side there's going to be something called the trade assurance. You want to make sure you check that, because that means Alibaba themselves as a company has went to that factory and confirmed that this is an actual factory and they're not scamming and doing the run your bands method. So that's the reason why you should check that. Number two, you need to contact at least 5 to 10 different manufacturers. The more the better. So the reason why this is really good is because it's pretty much like, I don't know, finding a girl, right? If you just talk to 2 girls, you only have 2 options really. But if you talk to 10 girls, 20 girls, right? You can choose the best girl out of the 20. So same exact thing here. If you talk to more manufacturers, you can just compare which one's the best and just choose a top 1 out of the 10 instead of out of 2. So I would say 5 to 10 is a good ballpark, but you can do more if you want to. And then you want to copy and paste this. Hi, I'm looking to make a custom hoodie, for example. And I was wondering what your MOQ is and if you can send examples of hoodies from other brands you have worked with. So the reason why this is a pretty good opening is because MOQ is pretty much minimum order quantity. This is how much you need to order from them, at least if you do a bulk order. So for example, if their MOQ is 50, that means you need to order at least 50 pieces of that said sample if you want to get it made in bulk. If their MOQ is 30, that means it's 30 pieces. Usually most manufacturers is 50. Okay, if it's 100, I would try to avoid them because 100 is a lot of quantities and it's pretty risky. And the reason why you want to ask for other brands examples is because you want to see if this manufacturer has worked with similar brands like yours. So let's just say you ask for pictures of examples and they send it to you and it looks like some shit off Forever 21. Well, obviously you're not going to work with them, right? So you want to copy and paste this to, let's just say 10 manufacturers, and then boil it down to around 2 to 3 manufacturers, right? So for me personally, I order from 2 manufacturers when I first started out, the same product, okay? The same exact sample, same exact product from 2 different manufacturers. Some people do 3, some people do 5. It's just depending on you, right? I think the more the better, obviously, but it is more expensive, and each sample is at least $100, so keep that in mind. Once you boil it down to 2 to 3 manufacturers and you order the sample from, let's just say 2. So let's just say you chose 2, right? You order the same exact design, same exact sample. Once it comes in, it's going to take around a month. You want to look for the MOQ. So like, what's their MOQ? Obviously, if one manufacturer's MOQ is 100 and the other one is 50, the 50 one is better because you can order less. What is the cost per quantity? So you would ask like, okay, if I were to order a bulk order for this, how much would this be each piece? Responding time. So do they respond quickly? That's important for me. Might not be for you. Quality, is the quality good? Like if both of them are the same, then it doesn't matter, but one of them might be trash, right? Examples of other brands. So like, let's just say one of the manufacturers, like I said earlier, as an example, they look like they work with like Forever 21 and all these trash ass Goodwill brands. And the other one has worked with like all the like crazy streetwear brands that are popular right now. Obviously, you should probably go for the one that, you know, other brands use. So you want to boil it down, and then from there, like I said earlier, you want to order one sample from each manufacturer, and then you want to wait 1 month to see which one has a better quality and etc. and everything I just said. Shut your ass up, Google Chrome. And then from there, you want to choose one. Okay. Now, let's just say you chose your manufacturer. Boom. Congratulations. You probably found one in Guangzhou or some shit. Was that racist? I don't think so, because I'm Asian. Pre-order, pre-made. So you guys can choose between pre-order, pre-made. It honestly just doesn't matter. I'll give you the pros and cons for everything. I'll go over pre-order first. Keep in mind, I'm doing pre-made right now. In the beginning, for the first year, I did pre-order. So I did both. Okay, so they both work. Pre-order, pros. You don't need a lot of money up front. Okay, so what I mean by this is you can literally like get sales from the actual sample or the product. And once you, let's just say, get 20 sales, you'll have enough money to buy the bulk order. So you're not putting anything up front from your own pocket. It's easily scalable. So let's just say this won't happen, but let's just say you get a viral video and you sell 100 pieces. Now you can order 200 pieces because you have like the money from the 100 pieces. There's obviously less risk because if you, for example, buy 100 pieces of a hoodie pre-made and you try to sell it and you get 0 sales, now you're stuck with 100 pieces. So that's the main reason why it's like less risky. The cons is that people hate it. So nobody wants to wait 3 to 4 weeks just to get an order from an Instagram brand that has 200 followers. And I highly do not recommend you guys do pre-order, especially if you have a lot of money saved up or you have a job, right? So if you're making, let's just say $3,000 per month from your job, like there's no reason why you should do a pre-order. You know what I'm trying to say? Because you have the money to front the order, and most bulk orders in the beginning will probably be around like $1,000 at max. So you only need $1,000 saved up. So I wouldn't recommend this unless you really don't have nothing. Next is pre-made. So the pros is obviously fast shipping. You can also do influencer marketing because you have the bulk order on you. You can't do influencer marketing with the pre-order because you only have one sample. But if you have the bulk order with you already, you have like 50 pieces, for example, you can send out like 5 to 10. You know what I'm trying to say? Overall, it's better control, right? Because you can do like photo shoots, influencer marketing, like I said earlier. You can do different type of shots, different type of sizes, etc. And you can just take more content, right? Cons is obviously it's expensive. So you have to pay $1,000 up front, and it's very risky because you're paying $1,000 for a product that you don't even know if you can sell, right? But that's up to you. I think everybody is better off doing pre-made if you have the money. If you don't, do pre-order. They both work, like I said earlier. I have done both. Final step is marketing, okay? So by this point, you guys should have, let's just say you guys did a pre-made, okay? Because it's only $1,000. I feel like anybody watching this video can obtain $1,000, right? Go work a job, bro. Flip some burgers, right? So let's assume that you did pre-made, and that's what I would do if I were to start all over again. Now it's marketing. So the bulk order in itself is going to take a month. So now we're at like around month 2, right? The bulk order is here, right? So now what you want to do is we're going to go over the marketing. We have organic, influencer, ads, and these are probably the most important. There is email and SMS, but that isn't really marketing because it's more on the back end, right? You just set up the flows. You can use literally the templates given by PostScript and Klaviyo. Like there's no crazy equation or anything like that for email and SMS. So first off, you guys should be posting at least 2 to 3 times per day on TikTok and Instagram. Why do you need to do this? Well, the main reason why is because you are a brand new clothing brand. You probably don't have that much money and nobody knows you, right? So the more you post, like posting in itself on social media is like a free lottery ticket. Like you don't know which one might go viral, but it has potential to go viral. Now, will I say like realistically, will you probably get a viral video? No. Well, you'll probably get a couple thousand followers, which is really good because it's free. You're not paying for it. You're literally just posting videos. You also probably have nothing else better to do. Like you have nothing to do, right? You have no money, you have no girls, you have no friends, you have no business. Like you can't even spend money even if you wanted to. So you have nothing else to do. Might as well post some videos on TikTok and Instagram. Now, I think this is really good because you literally have unlimited time, you have nothing else to do, you're waiting on your bulk order, for example, or you already have your bulk order and you're waiting for influencers to post your stuff, etc. So you just want to post. I will say, for me personally, minimum I would post 2 to 3 times per day. Average probably around 3 to 5. At max it was like 7 times per day, but that's when I was really desperate trying to get sales. So you guys should be posting organic. A couple questions I get a lot is like, what type of videos should I post? Bro, just literally go to your TikTok. Ideally, your TikTok should be full of other brand owners and other brands. Just copy their video. Just copy it, bro. Like literally just copy it, because it's working for a reason, right? So copy it, add your own little twist to it, and that's literally it, okay? It's pretty self-explanatory. Don't overcomplicate it. Next, influencer marketing. Like I said earlier, this is considering you have your bulk order. So you can use a 10% rule. You can do 15%, 20%, doesn't really matter. I think minimum should be 10%. What I mean by this is you need to send 10% of your inventory out to influencers. How do you find influencers? Another question I get a lot. Just search it up, okay? Just look at fashion creators. Look at all those Instagram accounts that post fit pics. You know what I'm trying to say? Hit up every single influencer that is in there. Another question I get a lot is like, do they need to have 100K followers? No. Quality versus quantity, okay? So what I mean by this is I'd rather send it to 10 influencers that only have 5K, for example, have all of them post, instead of sending 10 to different influencers and they all have like over 100K and none of them actually open it on video, right? So I think quality is way better than quantity. 10% rule. So let's just say if you order 50, you would send out 5 to influencers. If you want to be more aggressive, you can send out 10, 15, even 20, maybe even 25, right? The more you send out, the more sales you're probably going to get. And then from there, you would run ads. I actually don't recommend brand new clothing brands to run ads, because you don't even have that much inventory. You don't even have that much creatives. Like, there's no point in running ads, really. Like, I feel like ads is like the worst case scenario. Obviously, it is consistent sales, like for bigger brands. That's the main reason why, if you look at all the brands, like from like a large scale, the brands that are at the top, they usually focus mainly on ads, because it's very consistent. They already have a database, they already have a bunch of customers, they have a lot of products, they have the budget to spend money on ads, they have a lot of influencers, stuff like that. And all the brands that are first starting out, they're usually only doing organic, because they can't even afford to run ads. They don't even have any influencers, they don't even have good creatives, right? That's the reason why I think it's unnecessary for you to run ads in the beginning. I never ran ads until I hit 6 figures. Like I ran ads after I hit 6 figures. So the point I'm trying to make is, like, I hit 6 figures without running any ads. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. It's not like mandatory. It is good, don't get me wrong, but for most of you guys in the beginning, I don't think it's necessary. And then from there, ideally, if you do everything I told you to do, you would drop, right? Maybe 2-3 weeks later. And you should sell at least half of your inventory, right? So I will say 90% of brands get 0 sales in the first drop. So what I mean by this is, for me personally, I dropped my first ever collection, got like 12 sales, right? Nothing. And I spent a lot of money and a lot of time on it, like 3-4 months. Most brands just get 0 sales. That is life, okay? But the part where you will succeed versus you will fail is if you quit versus if you don't quit. If you don't quit, your next drop might do really good. Maybe your next drop. It depends. Everybody has a different timeline. But the point I'm trying to make is 90% of brand owners get 0 sales in their first ever drop. So if you get 0 sales, it's fine, bro. You feel me? Like, it is what it is. Just move on to the next one. You feel me? And it is a long-term game. Obviously, I go over this in different videos. Do not rush it at all. So ideally, after, let's just say you drop, you should sell a decent amount, especially if you send it to a bunch of influencers. And now from here, you just want to rinse and repeat the same exact strategy over and over and over again. Drop once a month. And by that point, like after maybe like 7, 8, 9 months, you should have a lot more capital stacked up, which means you can drop more items, maybe 2-3 items per collection. maybe send it to more influencers, move to a warehouse, and obviously that's how your business grows. So this is the exact blueprint that I used to hit 7 figures with my clothing brand. That's pretty much it. If you guys do want to work with me and join my Inner Circle program and have me teach you, there is a link in bio to see if you're qualified. Like I said earlier, it's totally up to you. I'm not going to force nobody to do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.